Welcome to today's coaching clinic, everybody. An end to striving and how to navigate or handle life and running your business and, helping clients when you yourself are maybe feeling low or out of sorts or not at your best. So I'm really inspired to do today's topic because a lot of the same question was coming up recently about, getting somewhere. And I was reflecting on my own journey around that, the fact that I used to be a heavy striver. And I was thinking about what changed, and I was thinking about how things changed. And so I want to share with you today some helpful as well as practical pieces that I hope will support you in calming down to a level of presence that gets the job done through you. Because a lot of the time we are trying to run the business, do life, deal with administration, deal with loved ones who have departed and their administration. A lot of the time, there's a lot of us efforting and striving. And I've seen a couple of things that I believe have helped me fall back into life support, literally, without, being on a machine, but fall back into receiving life's support. And that has led to operating in a new way, in a way that's more graceful, more attractive to people and clients and prospects, and in a way that's just supports what I value, which is my well-being. A way to operate in business that allows for flow and well-being rather than one or the other. You can have money or you can have health. You can have a highly successful business or a nice relationship. That used to be my experience. And so as we go through our coaching clinic today, and I never really know what's going to come out, I hope to point you to the space where you get to have it all, not in this corny, fully materialistic way, but in this, you get to enjoy your life, take care of yourself, be in your presence, be in your well-being, experience lovely relationships, and show up and serve and be of great service in the world. So let's just take a couple of minutes here to just ground, and I invite you into this gentle visualization with me that we'll start with, and then we'll see what begins to come forward. So wherever you've been today, whatever you've been doing, just begin to breathe to the count of 4 through your nose and out through the nose or the mouth. It's up to you. Allow yourself to be here. And begin to experience a deeper sense of presence. Letting that in-breath support you. 2, 3, 4. And letting that out-breath support you. 2, 3, 4. Feeling yourself just coming into this clinic. Letting yourself be in the now. intending for a miracle here. In my own case, that the electric stays for another hour for us or 45 minutes. And in your case, intending what you like a miracle around. Feel the breath support you in, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Let your belly rise and fall without judgment. Stop trying to hold it in. Stop trying to make it smaller. Stop trying to, make it tight. Just be in this moment, letting your shoulders relax, your belly relax, your neck relax. In, 2, 3, 4, and out, 2, 3, 4. Giving yourself permission to rest and feel rested. Just visualize roots now coming from your feet, down through the floorboards, down into the ground, right down to the underground, and wrap those roots around a rock at the bottom of the earth. Imagine those roots securely tightening around that rock. And see golden light emanate from that rock, up through the underground, the ground, in through the floorboards, and up through your feet. See this light circling you now, intended through your own vision, all the way up through the body. The ankles, slowly, not too quickly. The shins, the back of the calves, the kneecaps. This light is circling and enveloping you with great healing energy. Through the thighs, back of the thighs, the bum, the hips, the sexual organs, on up through the body now, relaxing the tummy area and the back of the spine. It gently moves up vertebra by vertebra, this golden light, releasing you from tension, stress, striving, proving. We'll often know how much we're efforting in this world by how tight our muscles are in any given place. And on up now through the torso, through the rib cage and the chest, on up into the shoulders. Now up to that central area of the neck, the front of the neck, the back of the neck, up through the face, up into the head, and out through the hair. See yourself completely enveloped in this golden elixir of healing light. Letting the breath support you in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. And out through the nose or the mouth, 2, 3, 4. Being present to your body now, being present to your feeling state. And now visualize your current self. Notice how you're operating in the world. Are you worrying, stressing, striving? Are you trying to get somewhere with business, with weight, with love? See your current self and just see the innocence of your proving or striving or trying or efforting. And a few steps ahead of you, just see another self, your spiritual self, your true self. Notice the lightness, the gentleness, the easiness with which this self simply listens for direction, takes action, and receives. Now merge these two selves together. If you like, you could see them embrace one another, but ultimately just merge the energy. You're stepping back into your true self. The part of you that has a natural gift to give this world, that doesn't require your hard efforting or your discipline in order to create, in order to produce. Feel yourself completely present to the possibility that striving is optional and proving is innocent, but equally unnecessary. I see a beautiful golden path in front of you, and all the things that you're currently desiring to experience, to feel, see them all on that path. And you, with your spiritual self, walking that path, receiving each of those desires as you go along. Not because you've worked hard enough or thought long enough or disciplined yourself strongly enough to get these things, to receive these things, but simply because what you desire and what is coming from your heart, the thing that you keep thinking about, the thing that you keep liking to experience, the thing that gives you a nice feeling, is rightfully yours because it's been planted in you. To experience in this world. Receive it now energetically on that path, knowing that it's only a matter of time that you will experience it in the material world, and that the best you can do is get out of the way and let it make its way to you in good time. Continuing with the breath in through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. And see the sun beaming down upon you as you receive all the gifts this world has for you. And know that the gift of feeling good, feeling well, feeling aligned precedes all of what you then receive and create in this world. So allow yourself to feel good. Drop the guilt about what you should or shouldn't be doing, who you should or shouldn't be by now, what you've learned you should or shouldn't be. Drop it all. And know that the greatest thing you could do for humanity is to feel content and to feel good and to feel well. Take a couple of moments to just breathe where you are. And see roots now coming from your feet, down through the ground, down into the underground, and right down to that rock at the bottom of the earth, and wrap those roots around that rock. Feeling so grounded and present. When you feel ready, gently open your eyes. And there's probably something that called you here today to this particular clinic or this particular topic. So I feel like doing two things. The first is I'd like to share with you a way to listen that will support your experience in the clinic and in any situation where you're searching for an answer or a direction or a clarity. And then I'd like to open up with what question or comment you have that comes to mind. What called you here today? So we've been running a group program, myself and my colleague Dominic Scafidi, called Living Miraculously. And there's a lot of people on the program. There's around 77 to 80 people. And when there's that many people in a program, it's important that the people don't get lost. And one of the things that I noticed was there's a way to listen to whoever's speaking, whether it's another participant, whether it's me, whether it's someone you're having coffee with, maybe it's someone you're teaching with or coaching with. There's a way to listen that profoundly impacts whether or not you get a shift in your life, in your consciousness. So often we're listening to the voice in our head when others are speaking. And we miss so much juice innocently. We're listening to what our problem is, what we want to get to, what we're going to do next, what we're evaluating what the person's saying. What we're not doing is we're not listening with presence. And so in any of these clinics and in any situation in your life, just as I shared with those almost 80 participants, if you really want to get juice from an interaction, learn to listen deeply. You'll go in and out of listening to the voice in your head, but you'll know you're listening deeply because there'll be a feeling that rises in you that lets you know something has shifted. Your intellect won't be able to put it into words. You might not remember what was said, but the feeling in you will begin to change. I know I have listened deeply and a shift has occurred when my heart opens and I start wanting to connect. Suddenly people who have gone from looking like annoying so-and-sos, or suddenly situations that have felt like a burden, all of those things lift. That comes from hearing something, having insight, a sight from within. But it starts, in order to get to that, it starts with listening a little more deeply beyond the voice in your head. So I just wanted to share that for any situation, and especially for our clinics. You do it naturally. When we're doing the meditation, you'll find you often just do it naturally. But let's take it to a new level. When you're hearing others speaking, or you're hearing me speaking, or you're out in life having lunch, rather than be out to lunch in your head, come back as frequently as you can to hearing in a deeper way. So if it makes sense to you, come on. Or I don't even know if on my phone I can see messages if you type me a message. Oh, I can, I've got a chat box. Come on and ask me, how can I help you today? How can I be of service to you in this clinic?
Hello? Grace?
Hi,
Can
is
you
that
hear
Pamela?
me?
I can hear
Yes.
you. Good to see you.
Okay. Great to see you too. And I wanted to bring something up. All the support I get from various spiritual guides, and I include you as definitely one of them, they don't talk about the subject of jealousy and how we can transform jealousy, which is part of the human experience, into wisdom, the shift of jealousy, which is so common and basic in our life experience, how we can turn into wisdom, self-knowledge, and even prosperity.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's a lovely direction for us to look in for a moment, because, you know, jealousy is a great indicator for when we are striving and we are in that state of proving. What I've come to see about that, Pamela, is it's just, it's a strong feeling that's alerting us that insecurity is at work. You know, jealousy it's an emotion that lets us know Bob the drunk in our head is really kicking off and we can't trust what he's saying. The wisdom I have found in jealousy is sometimes it has pointed me to what I really, really want, but I'm not letting myself have. So the moments that I have felt some sense of jealousy, first I've acknowledged there's a level of insecurity at work. That for me is the wisdom. And then I've acknowledged there's something she has that I want. But rather than separate myself away from it, which a lot of people do, you know, they get jealous and then they want to switch away from it and get away from it, or they
beat themselves up. They beat themselves up for feeling jealous. But
good point.
I want to transform that into a beautiful thing. Jealousy.
Well, and you know what? The fact that you have that desire to transform jealousy into something beautiful for you is enough. I would only be worried about you if you had another thought, like I want to totally take that person down because they've got what I want. You know,
no.
The fact that you want to transform it is enough. Your wisdom will guide you on that, Pamela. See, my wisdom would guide me to do or to experience something, and your wisdom will guide you the right way on jealousy. Your desire.
It's an untapped subject that women need to cultivate and work with this, because it's so common for all of us, women especially in female ways, to have those feelings. You know, it's not just a female thing, it's male too. But I think we can, I think it's like a definite untapped area of so much. There's so much there.
So you have a curiosity there.
Yeah.
See where it takes you. You know, anything you bring a curiosity to, a nice feeling to, you'll get answers to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So trust that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I see Charlene's got her hand up. I just need to check a candle here, Charlene. Come on. I've had a candle on today.
Okay.
Okay, how are you? What's your question or comment?
I think it's a comment, but essentially this workshop is so timely. I've had a day of trying to do videos and trying to go live, and just tech bringing up obstacles at every single turn. So rather than doing the 4 videos that I wanted to get done, I've done 0. And I was feeling so frustrated. And I got to 4 o'clock and I was like, go to the clinic with Grace. And you guided us into presence and stillness. That feeling of frustration hasn't left my body, but I do feel very present. And the tears are still in my throat because I'm doing what I think I need to do in order to propel my business along. And at the same time, I feel like I do have a question. At the same time, I feel like I'm being invited to see something deeper, something beyond the commonsensical, if that's a word,
Yeah.
about my progress and about productivity, because it makes sense for me to do these videos. And I've never been thrown like this with tech before. But there's a deeper lesson here. There's a deeper message here. And I would love your insight into this.
So just to be clear, you're looking for my feedback or insight around?
Feelings of responsibility, productivity, frustration, and presence and stillness, and feeling like there is a deeper message than just get your shit done. Like literally, I figured out the tech in the end, and I went live using a different, if you see how kitted up I am in this front room, like with all of my gadgets, I ended up using my phone to go live. And I just was feeling so overwhelmed with the stress that happened. I just froze. That has never happened to me before. I froze in the camera and I was like, I don't have a clue what I'm about to say. And for that to happen, it means that I need to take a look at something. Yes. I don't know if I've been any more clear.
Well, I was going to ask you which feels better, responsibility and frustration, or presence and presence?
There it is. In the presence and stillness, I feel like I'm not going to get my stuff done. And if I don't get my stuff done, then I won't achieve my objective.
Right.
And I feel like the productivity that I had planned is the way to achieve the objective. And I think that in presence and stillness, there's always a way, there's always a how. It just might be mysterious to me in this moment because I think I already know how.
Well, that's pretty big to see, and very common. You know, I need to be in action, striving, adrenaline mode to get stuff done. We all learn that. Okay. I think you're on a path anyway, Charlene, where that way of operating will become more and more intolerable to you. But there is this learning curve that you're on where you'll begin to trust that presence can also support you. We still get stuff done. It just doesn't take so much out of us to do it, you know. There's a gentleness to it. But when we haven't learned that, we want to be patient with ourselves, and we don't want to beat ourselves up about, you know, it would be a bit like if you've always cooked a particular type of dish and then one day you decided to cook a different dish and 10 people were coming for dinner. I mean, I know some people do that on those TV shows. It looks nuts to me. But, you know, you'd be putting yourself under pressure to suddenly go from productivity and responsibility and, you know, meeting the objective to just total presence and trusting that. So there's a learning, there's a merging that is developing for you. And trust me, you'll get more and more, not frustrated, but you'll get less and less interested in operating from the old way. It took me a while to learn that. It took me a while to see that. That stress and striving had nothing to do with whether or not I performed well.
Interesting. There is a knowing that is available to me when I am still and present. I just know. I know what to do. I know when to do it. I know what time to do it. And what has been happening today is something. And I was wondering, why are you feeling so stressed about doing these videos? I like being on camera. I enjoy it. What is the issue? I can hear Pamela. See Pamela smiling. Hi, gorgeous. What is the issue? And I could feel the stress building up in me. I even was not going to come to this clinic because I was like, you need to get your shit done. Just do it until you get your stuff done. I feel like the mind of God is like I'm discovering the softness of the mind of God, which makes me want to cry. Because God isn't a taskmaster standing over me, whipping me to task, as it were.
Yeah.
And as I've said that, my belly is really relaxed.
Good. Good. And that voice of, you know, you'll begin to discern, Charlene, the difference between that voice of judgment and harshness. Get your shit done. You need to do this. You got up this morning and you had this objective. What's wrong with me? I usually love being on the camera. That voice will begin to lose its grip a bit, because there's a big difference between that voice and the mind of God.
Yes.
And you'll get a little more discerning as you go about your day as to who's in the driving seat. And you did, because look, you've come on the clinic, you've gotten present, and who knows what that presence will bring you in the coming hours or days, you know? So thank you for that.
I just want to say, Charlene, your description of God was exquisite. Your description of God was magnificent, exquisite. I've never heard such beautiful words.
Thank you.
The power of presence.
Well, I'm glad that that's not the mind of God. And I'm glad that the way I tried to get stuff done today, because I'm not doing any more videos today. I've had enough for the day. But I'm just glad that the way I've been trying to get stuff done that's not God. It's just me innocently trying to get stuff done, to push ahead. And it's so funny because I am relaxing into this mindset that is so soft. It's so soft, it feels silly at times. This has been a huge thing in real time for me to pay attention to. And I'm just grateful that as my coach, that you do these clinics. It's just like right when I needed it. Thank you.
Good. You're so welcome. Thank you. You know, you're on the path. And one of the things I'll share with for everyone is, and Charlene has, you know, given us this example, is like, for those of you that are public and those of you that are putting yourself out there, if that's your case, and even if you're not, it doesn't matter. It's like people feel from you the place you're speaking from. So if you're ever in doubt about, should I just get on with stuff and get it done, versus shall I take some time to take care of my spiritual self, become present, and do this in a way that can be powerful, I encourage you to always go for the latter, because people feel from you where you're coming from, the level of well-being you're in. And there are times we just have to get on with things, but there's always time to get present first. If there's time to brush our teeth, there's time to get present first. So don't forget that, those of you that are sharing publicly. And presence will allow you to speak very clearly and very differently. It's part of the reason that I like to start with a meditation on these clinics. And it's part of the reason that before I get on coaching calls with clients, I will take time in advance to settle in and prepare myself for that, rather than task after task after task after task after task after task, like robotic. So thank you, Charlene, and end to striving. I want to say a few words about, you know, how do we show up for clients when we feel low? How do we show up for others in need, family members perhaps, when we feel low? Because that came up a few times this week for people, and it's such a common one. Because there's a part of us too that might not realize we're striving to show up, to help, to heal, to fix, to fulfill obligations, to stay responsible. And when I was asked that question, well, you know, what do I do when I'm feeling low? Well, there's a couple of things here. The first thing is, if you're in this particular field, you've got the best job in the world, because even if you feel like crap, by the end of the call with a client, you're in a different feeling state. The story goes from what you're going through in your mind and your head to what the other person is needing. And there's a shift that happens. People used to say to me, how could you show up and work during your grief? And I thought, how could I not? It was the one beautiful thing, that and writing were two beautiful things that helped me come into a better feeling state. Never worry about feeling low or not feeling up to the mark or not feeling. Our feeling is subject to change within seconds. It's designed that way. Remember, we're one thought away from well-being. So we can engage our clients and our businesses regardless of our feeling state. You don't want to get too precious about how you feel. Okay. You just want to show up and be present. As we get present, we're in a different feeling state. Now we can go about our day. We could be feeling low. We could be feeling tired. We could be feeling lethargic. We don't want to ignore that. The difference between being in this particular field of work versus being in a corporate 9 to 5, you're going to get a paycheck anyway, even if you're tired in 9 to 5. In our line of work, all of you that are in it or thinking about entering it, you're taking care of your well-being is a priority. That doesn't mean you get precious about it and you don't enjoy your life in any way. It means you notice when you're tired and you let yourself off the hook. You notice when you're feeling low and you listen to truth, or you read something, or you do whatever practice you know supports you. The beauty of these conversations that we have together, whether you're coaching with me privately or you simply come to the clinic or you're in some of the groups with us, is that your ability to bounce back is far quicker than most people's, because you understand how the mind works. But that doesn't mean you don't take care of yourself. That is allowed to be a priority. And I encourage it in whichever way works for you. However you know to get present is going to allow you to live in a beautiful feeling and to bring that feeling to people. And even if you haven't got that beautiful feeling right at the time it's about to go on to your work calls or your marketing or your whatever, that's okay too. Because the moment you're there and you get present, you'll fall back into that well-being. The worst place to be is fighting it and trying to improve it and trying to get away from it. All right? Don't do that. That just adds a lot of layers of resistance, more exhaustion. But I think that most of the people I speak with greatly underestimate how tired they are from all the thinking they're in all day long. And they greatly overestimate the voice in their head that tells them they should be doing more, which of course leads to striving. Then we wonder why we fall out of love with our business, or the flow of income starts to fall, or the possibilities start to fizzle out. Listen to last week's clinic. Taking care of your spiritual self takes care of business. You'll hear this thread throughout the clinics. And go easy on yourself. If you're waking up and you're feeling low, if you're waking up and you're feeling dread, if you're waking up and you're saying, where has my ambition gone? Where has my energy gone? Don't do that. Just come back to this moment, allowing yourself to rest and heal and recover, and service from there will be a completely other experience. Piggyback on my faith. Flow loves a rested mind. People love the feeling of well-being you live in more than the brilliant words you come out with in your marketing. or the price drop you decide to give. Anybody else got a question or a comment or something they want to hear? And just come on, or put your hand up because I can't see you.
Yes, please, Grace.
Hi, Pat.
Hello, lovely. It's funny how you were talking about listening and not listening to Bob, the drunk in your head, and how to be with people and listen, and how you know something changes by the feeling. And I'm sorry, I don't know what that other lady was saying about Charlene, but it is about Charlene. I was listening to her. And when she said, the mind of God, something within me just felt beautiful, just beautiful. And like that lady, it actually made me cry. And it was like it was like going around in a circle, because you'd said that what was happened, and it just happened. It showed me what you were saying, and I experienced in it. And that's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say how wonderful it was that I was present, I heard it, but I felt it. So thank you, Charlene, because I could feel your presence, and I could feel the change when you mentioned the mind of God. It just sort of went, oh, what do you worry for? Wow. So thank you, Charlene, and thank you, Grace, for the clinic.
Of course. So Charlene, if you're ever in doubt about whether or not you should get shit done or get present first, just rewatch what you shared from your place of presence. And well done, Pat, for that deep listening. You know, that's what we're talking about. There's a space you come to where you're hearing something that changes you from the inside. You know, it's not so much the words, but yes, beautiful communication and a person coming from presence helps us come into presence. But we hear something that shifts us from the inside. And it's a feeling. I love that. Love that you got that. Anybody else? So often we don't realize when we're proving ourselves. Trying to prove ourselves. We may have been accustomed to doing that. And yet when I look at it now in my own life, I see it as a pretty harsh way to live. I didn't know I was really doing that. Like even when Francesco died, I had to prove to myself that I could be okay in the big bad world on my own. And the way I did that was I went to Mexico. Now there was a part of me that was called there. There's no doubt about it. But in hindsight, there was another part of me that as I've been wakening up on my floors of consciousness, I began to see, oh, why did you need to prove to yourself you could go into the world without him? You were always doing that, even when he was alive. And I began to see that this experience of proving, whilst it may not be in my business so much these days, it had sneaked into my personal life. This element of insecurity had sneaked into, you know, Bob had gotten in there and been talking to me about, you know, needing to be able to show myself that I'm okay without Francesco. Proving yourself is optional. Since waking up to that, I've noticed that I don't want to go anywhere. And it's okay. I have no idea what my next steps are in my life. I have no idea if I will remain here in Italy where we were for years, or I'll go somewhere. But now that it's not going to come from Bob needing to rev me up and me needing to react and prove myself. Now I know when it's time to move, I'll be called. And I'll trust that. I'll trust that. Monica, did you have your hand up?
Okay, well, I'm glad I listened to your what you just said. Just being, I haven't been on here before, but I listened to you and Dominic, and I'm part of that group. It's so nice to see what you do. I saw you on YouTube, and it's so I love just getting more stuff. You know, I woke up this morning with a lot of judgments on myself. So you say just owning who you are. I do have a partner who's quite different than me, but I have to still own, you know, not trying to make that the way I think it should be, or how, you know. So it's just what your experience in Mexico, you know, and how to live your life, whether you're with someone or not. You know, that's quite, I'm going to do a little, I've done talks off and on drawing and finding your creative space, because that was my eye-opening to get into painting and drawing. But it's like life is a journey, and it's, you know, I feel like I want to talk more. Maybe not coach, but I'll do that. I will do that. I keep changing plans about that talk, but it's on creativity. And it's for Sunday, the 26th, around 11 a.m., I think, at this point. But that will be because I want to be more visible for myself. You know, and that I always used to hide out. So, you know, and I have to say, well, you know, if you get on, you'll be okay. And I'll be sharing. The ability to share, I think, gives us strength in being ourselves or just living our life. So that's kind of the reason I'm doing it, is to keep enhancing my feelings. It's something, just even pleasure. I've had chronic pain, and I do listen to Hannah. There's that space, you know, so I'm still kind of well, you can't figure it out, you know, and it might be an emotional thing that I'm trapped in, that I'm sort of not aware of, but it does sort of inhibit my life. But I don't know, I want to go back into dancing again, which I did before, but then I'll go, well, can you even get there? But once I'm there listening to that music, so that's sort of, but then I can't take on more than I'm capable of taking on either. But I think just enhancing my life, enjoying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
That's
You
about
know,
it.
that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, Monica. You woke up with judgments this morning, but you're seeing that it's really about you paying more attention to enjoying life than it is paying attention to that judgmental voice. So thank you so much for sharing that and for being here. Thank you,
Thanks.
everybody.
Finally. Thanks.
Monica, you have a beautiful speaking voice.
Oh, what? Thank you. That's lovely. That's encouraging. Thank you kindly.
We're
You
back
are.
here 2 weeks' time, everybody. So every 2 weeks, we have the coaching clinic. So I'll be back with a fresh topic in 2 weeks'
Okay.
time. I wish you all a beautiful Valentine's Day next week. And thank you for everybody who shared. Thank you for showing up. Just know every time you're in attendance and you're following your wisdom to join or listen or get on the replay, the serum is going in. The elevator of consciousness is going up. And you may not necessarily feel that right at the time, but I can assure you that over time, you start to really experience a difference. If I can be of service to you personally for private coaching, or you'd like to join one of our groups or explore it, get in touch, gracefulcoaching@gmail.com, and I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Lots of love. Bye.
Bye. Thanks, Grace.
You're so welcome. Bye.